Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday.
This one has to be done first.
I'll handle it the way I always do.
There may not be time enough for that.
I'm not some wild Cleveland shooter. I don't cowboy.
Hurry! Run to the car and the setup! I can't! Oh, God!
You ever hear the term mechanic used outside its normal meaning?
Yeah? A hitman. So?
So there we are.
You've got a partner, Mr. Bishop.
Remember, no second chances. Dead sure or dead.
How long till she goes?
Now.
Hey there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, we're going to cover the movie The Mechanic from 1972. The studio was United Artists. The release date was November 17th, 1972. The running time, 100 minutes, and it was rated PG. Roger Ebert at the time gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars. Here's his review. He is like a depression-prone James Bond. He has everything and can do anything. He has an original Bosch on the wall of his living room. And he likes to sit and look at it and sip fine wines and listen to chamber music and plan his next murder. His is the life of conspicuous consumption we were all taught to strive for until, a few years ago, simplicity came in. He never got the message. He is an anachronism. He is also sad. Charles Bronson, who has recently started to enjoy a long-delayed superstar status, is very good and slit-eyed as the mechanic, and the movie's premise is a nice one with a lot of neat twists towards the end. But Michael Winner, whose other near misses include Hannibal Brooks and The Games, has only been able to fully trust the script once in his career. That time he made the wonderful The Jokers in 1967, one of the best caper movies. In The Mechanic, however, he seems to shy away from the strange and ultimately deadly relationship between the teacher and his pupil. Instead, he gives us a lot of action sequences that are supposed to be exciting, but are actually just dull. The real action in this movie is psychological, 2 cobras circling each other. And when he throws in a motorcycle chase, we are reminded that it isn't much better than last week's motorcycle chase. Yawn. Seen one stuntman right over a chasm, seen them all. Sorry, evil. Still, Bronson is a good movie actor, and he knows how to listen. That's hard. A lot of actors just look like they're waiting for the other guy to stop talking so they can start again. Since The Mechanic depends on scenes where Bronson keeps his own counsel and lets the kid talk, the listening is important, and helps to establish the weight of the character. It also helps that this is Bronson's first Hollywood movie in some time, after all those lousy dubbed European imports like The Valachi Papers, which would sound like it was shot in an empty water tank. It's good to have Bronson back in a realistic oral universe. That's the end of Ebert's review. Now, Charles Bronson is one of my favorite actors and one of the most underrated ones in my opinion. There are those action stars who act tough, and then there are those who are just tough without it seeming forced. You think of Charles Bronson and Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. They immediately come to mind for me with regards to this easy toughness. All three actors did more with just a look or a glance than dialogue could ever portray. You don't have to be eloquent like Sir Laurence Olivier to be considered a fine actor. There's room for all kinds. All right, let's get into the making of the film. So by this point, Charles Bronson had been in the film and television business for 2 decades. But really not until the 1970s did he really hit his full stride, and by then he was in his 50s, but he was still in terrific shape physically. For me, The Mechanic is really where Bronson becomes a star on film, and he carries that for the rest of his career, because soon he would have his biggest hit, with Death Wish 2 years later. As for Jan Michael Vincent, many folks will remember him for his 1980s TV show work on the series Airwolf with Ernest Borgnine. However, The Mechanic would be Vincent's breakout role, and we also covered one of his other 1970s movies, where he co-starred with Burt Reynolds in the action comedy Hooper. Check that out. It's with the great Stephen Michael. Vincent's constant battle with drugs and alcohol led to his many problems, especially legally, along with many car wrecks, which eventually led to his downfall of both his career and his life. Director Michael Winter and Bronson had worked together previously a year earlier on the film Chateau's Land. They would go on to make 4 more films together after The Mechanic, including a majority of the Death Wish films. Now, the original script to The Mechanic was to have the main characters be gay, which would have been extremely taboo in the early 1970s, along with the fact that it would have been difficult to get a top-draw actor to take on an openly gay role at that time. George C. Scott flatly refused to be part of the film during these early casting calls. None of that for George S. Patton, I guess. All right, let's get into the film. So it opens with the contract killer Arthur Bishop. That's Charles Bronson. He's setting up a job in a small apartment above a diner. He takes photos of an apartment across the street with a variety of spots to focus on. Now, part of the job is a methodical patience and planning to make sure that everything happens without flaws. Bishop looks at every detail of his photos over and over to have everything down pat before taking out his mark. The first 15 minutes of The Mechanic is like watching a classic silent film, as there is absolutely no dialogue, but there's really zero need for it. This is about watching Bishop perform his craft. Bishop breaks into the apartment of his mark and plants an explosive in the gas-range stove. He also replaces the breakfast English tea bags with his own bags, likely with more explosives. He then takes a specific book from the bookcase and adds a brown liquid substance to the book and puts it back on the shelf. The mark arrives at his apartment, makes a cup of tea, and falls asleep. Bishop then waits for nightfall. Still asleep, the mark has no idea that the substance in the gas stove is now in action. At around 3:30 in the morning, Bishop makes his move and grabs his rifle. He aims at the book with the brown liquid in it and then fires one shot. The entire apartment explodes into flames. Bishop has completed his job and he calmly takes apart his rifle while chaos ensues across the street. Bishop then burns all the photos of his job. We finally get some dialogue when the bosses of the contract syndicate that Bishop works for gives him a call. The boss is Big Harry McKenna, played by Keenan Wynn. Bishop visits Harry at his mansion, and we also meet Harry's son, Steve, played by Jan Michael Vincent.
Just doesn't make any sense, Arthur. They said I broke the agreement. Day before yesterday, they stopped answering my calls.
What can I do?
Give them a call. Say a few words on my behalf.
I wouldn't know who.
Arthur.
Why should they listen to me? I'm no part of that.
No, but your father was a very important part. His brains helped put the whole thing together for him. They still talk about him like he was a patron saint. You've got his name. Please, Arthur. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Save it.
Come on outside, let's have a drink. You know, I've given him a good many years. Me and your father both. How many friends do you think I got right now, huh?
What?
I was just thinking, remember that fishing trip that you and me and your father took up to Canada? You was about 8, right?
7 or 8.
You fell overboard. You couldn't swim. Your old man says he'll learn pretty fast. You were flopping around. You look like a drowned rat. But you didn't say a word. You didn't yell for help or nothing. You just kept looking at your old man. And he didn't make a move. Well, pretty soon I had to reach out and grab you by the hair and pull you in the boat. You look like a drowned rat. Your old man, he laughed like hell.
That was a long time ago.
Hey, what are you drinking? We got vodka, we got scotch, bourbon. Oh, Arthur, this is my son, Steve. Steve, this is Mr. Bishop.
Hi, how are you? I need some bread, Dad.
What are you talking about? Why, just this morning I was at...
I only need 1,000.
Oh!
Besides, my asking you for money makes you feel I'm dependent on you. Kind of ties us together.
Fast, huh?
Chromosomes will tell.
He's got a point. My father gets uptight when I ask him for money. He steals from other people.
Steve, that's enough.
Okay. Don't get excited. It's bad for you. Nice to meet you. Drop by anytime, huh? Any friend of Big Harry's?
I know you gotta go. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Forget it.
I just don't understand him anymore. It's just so... Well, call me when you know something, okay?
Okay. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Sort of an ominous goodbye from Bishop to Harry. Though it's not really explained, it's implied that Harry likely did something to violate the strict policies the organization had. If any of those rules are broken, you could be in trouble, like the dead kind of trouble. Sure enough, that night, Bishop gets his next assignment. It's Harry. And like the hit before, Bishop goes through the same process like he always does. I mean, it's the life of a hitman. Even your friends could end up being your next target, and vice versa. Bishop gets the call and the go-ahead to complete the job. Bishop takes Harry to a secluded beach location to presumably have Harry meet with one of the syndicate to clear up his issues. In reality, Bishop is simply going to take out an unsuspecting Harry.
Nothing else, huh?
Nothing else. You're to wait down there, and I wait for you at the top of the hill.
Well, could you tell anything by his voice? I mean, you know, the tone.
Harry, stay loose.
Yeah, sure. Sure. It's like you say. If they're willing to talk, well...
Harry, I'll be parked right up there.
Say, don't you think that, is it, huh? Finish it, Arthur. You want me? Finish it. Finish it.
Bishop places his hand over Harry's mouth and suffocates him. Even though Bishop always seems in control, his tensions are building up inside. He does have someone he sees, though she's a prostitute. It's Jill Ireland. And he role-plays with her to have the semblance of a normal relationship. And by the way, if you didn't know, Jill Ireland was Charles Bronson's wife.
It'll be 100 more this time. The letter took me a while to make up. All right?
Yes. The letter was good. Try to think of something like it for next time.
Okay. I will.
Bishop attends Harry's funeral and ends up standing next to Steve.
I've always been interested in primitive rituals like tucking the dead away.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
Glory be to the Father, Harry McKenna,
Our brother Harry
fixer extraordinaire, pusher, pimp, thief, arsonist.
Let us commend him.
You liked him a lot?
Oh yeah, he was my kind of man.
He became God's son through baptism
What was your connection with him?
and was often fed.
He worked for my father a long time
The
back.
Lord now welcomed him.
He thought I could do him a favor.
So your old man was in, huh?
And he inherited.
And you?
Let us also.
Don't you think you should be,
Yeah.
May we mourn him.
Yeah, you got something going.
United one day with our brother.
you're pretty sure of yourself?
Christ Jesus, when he
I live in my mind, Mr. Bishop.
shall appear.
Sounds like something I read someplace.
And so do you.
Grant, O God, that while we lament
Could I have a ride home?
your servant, we may always
Sure.
remember that we are most certainly
When Bishop and Steve arrive back at the house, it's filled with tons of Steve's friends partying like it's New Year's Eve. Steve has inherited the family fortune, including the mansion. In a fascinating scene, Steve's girlfriend Louise, played by Linda Ridgway, tells Steve that she's going to kill herself. Stephen then asks Bishop to go with him to her house. Steve very coldly and calmly doesn't stop Louise from slashing her wrists, or even to try to stop the bleeding. After almost an hour, he tosses Louise his car keys and tells her to drive herself to the sheriff's station. Seems like Steve might have the mentality, or pure narcissism, to be a hitman.
Would you have let it happen?
Would you? Look, I was just an observer.
You haven't answered my question.
Well, what do you think?
We'll never know, will we?
Well, say that I just sat there, or we just sat there and watched her check out. Think that would have been crazy?
Irrational, maybe.
Is there anything wrong with that?
It just means that you have your own rule book.
I can dig that.
Is that so? It takes a very special kind of person to pick up the tab for that kind of living. You say you dig it. But you're talking about something you really know nothing about.
And you do.
Do I?
Oh, very slippery. When he's cornered, he answers questions with questions. What's your action, Mr. Bishop?
You've been watching too many late movies. Well, it's been interesting. Thanks. Maybe another time.
The lifestyle begins to catch up with Bishop, as he has an anxiety attack in an aquarium and passes out. The emergency doctor recommends Bishop see a psychiatrist. The next day, Bishop finds Steve sleeping in his car waiting for Bishop in his driveway.
So this is what it looks like inside your head, huh? This place must have cost some bread.
You still trying to figure my action?
No.
I inherited enough.
Well, it is nice to be comfortable, isn't it?
Is there something specific you want to talk about?
No, I just, well, yeah, there is. What happened the other night? I was pretty far out and you were saying some things about it.
So?
So how about some answers?
To what?
For openers. Suppose I say I think I'm the kind of person that can pick up the tab for what happened. What's the rest of it?
What makes you think I can answer that?
Well, you said that,
I said that you didn't know anything about it. It doesn't mean I do.
Now you see him, now you don't. Is my time up?
There is something I have to do.
Can I come?
What do you want from me?
That's incredible.
Yeah, it keeps me sharp. Balance, problems of orientation. Sometimes you have to think in reverse. Here, you take it. Well, it's not bad. How long you been flying?
Oh, about 20 seconds.
My father was what they called a judge. He would settle arguments on the council, and his word was final. It was never questioned. Until one day some hotheads from Chicago took exception to one of his decisions and put a contract on him. The guy that got him was a shooter from Topeka. And that was all.
How old were you then?
Your age. Well, maybe younger. I was still in school. You find this interesting, don't you?
Are you kidding? My father used to do front numbers even for me. Like if he did that, maybe it wouldn't rub off. Never talk about that stuff. Well, he was beautiful. Only trouble was, I really wanted to dig it. He wanted me to be part of his front, too. Neat Bel Air kid type. So what happened after they burned your old man?
Finished school.
And?
That's all. Then I grew up.
Did your father ever tell you anything about the operation? Like how it worked?
No.
What's with those guys anyway? They all act like they're ashamed.
My father wasn't ashamed. He was the best. Game. You're pretty good.
Yeah.
Play to win, do you?
You know any other way?
Let's make it 2 out of 3.
Okay. But I'm telling you, I'm genius at this game.
Well, you go get the ball, genius.
What's going on?
That old man is Yamato. He's here from Japan, where he's a master. The other guy's coy. Very dangerous and very fast. But he's got some new tricks that's sort of an insult to the old style. Yamato thinks these tricks are useless against a classic fighter and is here to prove his point. The object of these fights is total concentration and control. They don't actually hit each other. Otherwise, one or the other would be dead. That's against the law.
I thought he wasn't supposed to hit him.
Probably one of Corey's new tricks.
You haven't said 3 words since the match.
Mm-hmm.
He practically murdered that guy.
Murder is only killing without a license. And everybody kills. Governments, the military, the police.
Do you think that Yamato's a killer?
Well, he's a killer who doesn't kill. It's funny. No. For him, the rules are important.
That's your expert opinion?
That's my opinion.
Okay, don't get uptight.
Not me.
Ah, bullshit. Look, every time we're on the subject, the same thing happens. As long as we're wrapping it out on your terms, everything's okay. But the minute I have a question or I want to know something specific from you, you either shine me on or go out for coffee. What the hell is going on?
You're pressing pretty hard. You better be damn sure you want to know. This is not freshman philosophy time.
I'm sure.
You ever hear of the term mechanic used outside of its normal meaning?
Yeah,
Where?
my father used it. It's a dealer, guy who works game tables.
Anything else?
Sure. It's a shooter. A hitman. So?
So there we are.
And that's your action. Yeah, that figures.
I'm telling you this because there are times when I could use a backup. Wouldn't have to spread myself so thin. And you seem to have the aptitude.
You do this for money?
Money is paid, but that's not the motive. Has to do with standing outside of it all on your own. I'm going to teach you all I can. After that, you can choose how you want it to go. You in?
Do I have an alternative?
There are alternatives to everything.
You've got a partner, Mr. Bishop.
Associate. No. Point the gun as though it were an extension of your arm. And keep both eyes open. All right, you ready? Pull! That's better. Much better.
Pull!
Winchester. 300 Magnum, 180 grains.
Okay.
Muzzle velocity.
Pull! 3,070.
Drop at 200 yards.
2 minutes low. Pull!
300 yards.
Pull! 5.3 inches.
300 yards, 150 grains.
4.8 inches. Pull.
There you go. Doubles.
Oh.
There are killers and there are killers. To tell you the truth, they all have a different book of rules. To get away with it depends on the book of rules you have in your pocket at the time. Your own country, somebody else's country, or your own personal book of rules. All this, heroes. Half of them are killers. Napoleon was one, you know. Pancho Villa, Genghis Khan. And then we have our own domestic brand like Billy the Kid, Jesse James, and John Dillinger. Yeah, they're about as famous as our own honest-to-goodness heroes.
Don't tell me that's gonna make us heroes.
I wouldn't tell you anything like that. All I'm saying is that people who stand outside the law oftentimes end up as heroes.
What's with that ball of wax I see you squeezing?
Sometimes you have to hold the mark. It develops the strength.
In the ages between 45 and 64, the total deaths by accident, 10,431 were from falls. And you know, falls from high places are very clean. What's that?
That is your first involvement.
So that was a very long quip, but necessary. The most interesting scene being the martial arts battle of the old versus new. The new guy had the brashness of youth and fresh ideas, but in the end, he was taken out badly by the old guard. Is that the perfect metaphor for the relationship between Bishop and Steve? Well, you're just going to have to watch the final half an hour and find out. The end of the quip has Bishop preparing Steve for his first job. It's almost like being in isolation for so long brought up a perfect storm with Steve entering into the picture. I think the reason that this film is so good is the pacing and methodical nature of the planning and timing that Bronson has for the character. You're just kind of glued to his every move, and while his acting might seem understated, it really isn't. He knows the part he's playing, and he plays it perfectly. And by the way, the ending is awesome, and probably unexpected for most. However, if you're a fan of 1970s films, it fits the vibe perfectly if you're a fan of that era of film. All right, let's get into the fun facts. So Cliff Robertson was originally cast as Bishop, with Jeff Bridges as Steve. Richard Dreyfuss was also going to play the role of Steve, but Dreyfuss was disliked by Charles Bronson. And Bronson also hated Jan Michael Vincent because he sneezed all the time. But, of course, Vincent finally stayed on. Charles Bronson insisted with the producers that his wife, Jo Ireland, was hired to play the prostitute. If not, he would quit the film. Producers later said that even if Bronson had asked for the Queen of England, they probably would have accepted. The rundown hotel where Bronson completes his first hit had a dive bar used for the gatefold cover of the Doors' 1970 album, Morrison Hotel. It was called Hard Rock Cafe. So The Mechanic was remade in the 2000s with Jason Statham in the Bronson role. Statham also starred in the sequel to the remake. I do own both, so you'll be hearing those episodes in the next 40 years. Someone we didn't have to wait 40 more years to get him back on the podcast is LC from the Cobras and Fire podcast. So he joins me to talk about The Mechanic. He'd never seen it, so we get fresh eyes on this one. And also, I recently guested on their Sidecast podcast. It's still under the Cobras and Fire moniker. And we're talking about the 1994 self-titled album from Zakk Wylde's solo debut. And that band is Pride and Glory. I love that album. And so we talk about it for about 45 minutes. It's already been released, so go check that out on Cobras and Fire. In the meantime, let's play my interview with LC now regarding The Mechanic. And I'll be back next week to talk about yet another random movie from my DVD collection. Okay, welcome back. Well, our next guest is much like the main character in The Mechanic. It's a bit of a challenge to schedule an appointment with them, but when you finally do get them, it's worth the wait. So let's welcome back LC from Cobras and Fire. Welcome back.
Thanks, Brian. Glad to be here.
Okay, so you were on for Spies Like Us. We tried to get you on for other ones, and you're just like, yeah, not going to happen. But every now and then, there's a movie or a time where it just all fits, kind of like the Charles Bronson character. So I'm glad you're back. Before we get into The Mechanic, so which Charles Bronson movies have you actually seen? Because when I first mentioned this to you, it seemed like you hadn't seen many.
Right. No, this would be the first one. I've always been, growing up aware of Charles Bronson and Death Wish mostly in those series. And but I never just sat, for whatever reason, I just saw him as just like certain bands growing up. He just seemed like just an old dude and out of my zone. And I was into like Stallone and Schwarzenegger and those kind of action heroes, and not the old man that's just trying to figure shit out and that kind of stuff that wasn't appealing. And so basically when you mentioned it to me, I was like, this is a good project for me to actually sit down and watch it. So
now that we're old men, it kind of resonates more.
It does. and I like it too, because Charles Bronson always seems so old, always. You know what I mean? He had that thing, and they always say that picture of the traveling Wilburys or whatever.
Yeah.
They show the ages, that meme or whatever, like they're 35 years old or whatnot, right. And they look older. Yeah. But the I think the meme should be, and we talked about this, should be All in the Family. Like everybody on All in the Family was in their 40s. Like Rob Reiner was 25 when he played Meathead or whatever. He looked old as hell, even in that show. But Bronson, I think, plays 50 in this movie, which is my age. Yeah. And I just think the guy's he's gone through World War III. And
well, his career began in the 50s. He was in the movie The Great Escape. So, his physique, he was always cut. Like, even when he got into his 60s and 70s, he's always cut, but his face always kind of looked weathered.
Which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It plays to the character.
It's kind of like Wilford Brimley. He was always even when he was 20, he looked like 70.
Well, I think Brimley was in Cocoon. That's another one. I think he was 50.
Yeah,
or something like that. They actually he was the only one in the group that they'd aged up. I think I read something that they added prosthetics or makeup or whatever to make him seem as old as Fred Astaire, whoever's in there.
Don Amici, I think it was Don Amici.
Yeah, Don Amici. Whatever.
But it's kind of like the Golden Girls. The youngest was actually
the oldest.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Exactly. All right. So what I always appreciated about Bronson as an actor was he had this kind of subtle badassness about him. There was always this quiet calm, but you also knew he could destroy you in any second. It was kind of like Clint Eastwood, those westerns that he was in. What did you like about how Bronson kind of portrayed the Arthur Bishop character in The Mechanic?
Yeah, so at first, I'll just spoiler, I love the movie. So I was super happy that I got this assigned to me, and it was something that is an example of why podcasts are awesome, because I don't think that I would have ever seen this movie ever in my life if it wasn't assigned to me, and it just is not something I'd look at with the thousands of choices they're throwing at you these days.
That's right.
So how he approached it, I guess the reason I'm saying about the movie part is that the first, I think, 15 minutes, I'm just going to pull it on my ass, there's no dialogue.
Right.
Am I right? Like he's just slowly going through his process, but his acting and his mechanical ways, or just going through things as a process, I just thought it was an awesome introduction to the character himself without you even knowing him first, that first kill that he does.
Yeah, it's almost like a silent film when you're watching, which is kind of neat.
I was never bored, and it's very rare to see that kind of thing in today's cinema. So I appreciated that from a filmmaking process of getting into this guy's head.
So, I mean, we mentioned our ages. We remember what it was like before cable, before video, and things like that. Do you think there are almost too many choices now, whether it be music or movies, because you're not going to give anything a chance that's really outside your comfort zone?
I do. I really think that's what it was. Is even if you dial it back to go into a video store, at least there was just one wall.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you rolled the dice based on just like albums. A lot of times the cover, who is in it. Sometimes you just were like, fuck it. I've never even heard of this movie, but it has this actor, and how is he in this? And this is like 5 years before he's famous. But you don't even get that. You just like bam, 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 instant play. You have to turn that thing off where they start playing the movie, which I hate when you're flipping through things.
Yes. The other thing, and you mentioned it, you would see a movie just because Stallone was in it back in the day. I don't think there's any superstar actors where you're just going to go see a film now because they're in it. I think now you see it because, it's a new Marvel movie, but it really doesn't matter who's in it.
I think that has been diluted down because movie stars are now TV stars or streaming stars or whatever you want to categorize them. And then you have famous people like Bruce Willis or Nick Cage who are just paying off debt or whatever, paying for the Falcon's head or whatever crazy thing he bought in the castle 30 years ago, paying off his thing. So everything's kind of diluted now, and the movie star doesn't really indicate the quality of the movie as much anymore.
Right. So The Mechanic, this is very much a gritty 70s film. The main characters are anti-heroes, frankly, but you're still rooting for them. Are there any other 70s movies that, off the top of your head, that kind of like this that you really enjoy, or have you delved into the 70s that much? Yeah,
definitely. I need to go more into it for the, let's just say, the filmmaker era. But one that's a little off the beaten path, I don't know if it's considered gritty or not, but it's one that I hadn't seen until like 2 or 3 years ago, was The Conversation.
Oh, yeah, Gene Hackman.
Which reminded me of this in parts. What I mean is the silent part where the guy's just going through his mode and everything like that, and the fact that Hackman ended up being not officially the character in Enemy of the State, but kind of based on that. So that's one that I think had a lot of similarity in the style of this, where it's just very thoughtful every scene. Off the top of my head, I can't think of. I only pulled that one because of the similarities I think in the style.
Sure.
Of this, which is a slow burn kind of deal.
Yeah, and then you had actors back then who weren't heartthrobs like Gene Hackman.
No,
not a looker, but what an amazing actor.
Right. There's just people you could just identify with. Like, I can just see this guy. It was real. It wasn't superhero action, and I dig that the realism of it. So.
Yeah. What is your favorite decade of film, if you have one?
Probably now, as I just keep going into it more, is 70s, 70s to early 80s, like right before, like Back to the Future is a great movie, but like 85 forward gets more glossy.
Sure.
Like I love the John Hughes, but if I'm going to pick one for this style, I'll just say for this. I think comedies 80s, this kind of stuff, thrillers 70s, early 80s. I think is a good zone.
And what about action? Do you delve into the 90s for action at all?
Yep, I would go late 80s to early 90s. I don't know if you just want me to just stick to decades and not do this blend. I mean, I would just say 80s for action and that kind of stuff. Where like Aliens is. I know it's science fiction too, but that's one of the greatest action movies of all time for me.
Sure. Do you prefer the sequel over the original?
I do. They're two different things. A lot of people do. Yeah. One was a monster movie thriller. One of them is a straight up like so many quotes from Aliens. And stuff like that. So but then the 90s were kind of like going back to the 70s, right? From Tarantino forward, kind of getting that aesthetic back. So
no, that's a good point. So the teacher-student trope, that's kind of been told countless times during the history of film. How did you like the back and forth between Bronson and Jan Michael Vincent in the film?
Let's stop there for a second.
Okay.
This guy, I only knew in passing from the stories of him being an airwolf and being a complete addict and crazy. And like, I guess he lost one of his arms and died or whatever he was. But this motherfucker was Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Like of the 70s. I was like, who's this guy? Like if I wasn't watching it with my wife, and my wife would be like, wow, this guy is like a heartthrob, like this leading man. And I'm like, I actually want to check out more stuff. Just besides being a good actor, is my point. Is like he came out of nowhere for me. I was like, who is this guy? And I looked him up. Like I know him. I'm like Airwolf, but I've never seen any of his other credits. But my point is, he was really good with that relationship where you kind of knew right from the beginning that he's a bit of there's some badness to him. Like that whole like I haven't been as uncomfortable as watching that suicide scene as I have been in quite a long time. Like I'm like, this is just. Is she? I was like, maybe they are going to let her bleed out. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. You wouldn't see that. They definitely whitewash that kind of stuff from 80s and stuff until you get back to like Pulp Fiction and just uncomfortable situations again, as far as that kind of discomfort, let's just say.
Well, it makes sense because Tarantino was such a fan of 70s films, especially like kind of schlock films too. To your question, I thought the relationship was it wasn't, while that thing has been told over and over again, it wasn't a buddy movie setup. Yeah. It wasn't, it seemed real. It seemed like this guy actually wanted to have somebody he could teach, and he'd been such a loner his whole life. He's like, okay, well, this guy, maybe he kind of felt like he would redeem himself a little bit because he had to kill his dad. Yeah, and that's what I kind of liked it too. You weren't sure where this was going to go. There's a little uneasiness about both of them, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you say you were watching this with your wife. Did she like the film?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't watching it with my wife, but she was. I guarantee was my point. I'd be like, who is this guy? Because is there something that some of these actors, they're like, and I don't want to do too many tangents, but is there? My question would be, because when would I know this otherwise?
Yeah.
Is there other movies where he's in the lead and it does a good job in 70s movies? Because I thought that he probably would have had a chance to do other.
So he was in a lot of stuff. I would say the most memorable one, but it was a sporting actor, was Hooper with Burt Reynolds. Like he plays, actually, it's kind of like the student mentor thing with him. Burt Reynolds is an old stunt driver or stunt man, and Jan Michael Vincent's the new kid on the block, and he's kind of learning from him. So kind of similar in some ways.
And what's the name of that one?
Hooper.
Okay.
Yeah, so that came out in 78. And then, like you said, I was going to ask, did you watch Airwolf as a kid?
The thing that's weird is that I was a big fan of anything that involved a car or a helicopter. And I always got Blue Thunder and Airwolf confused together because I think I was like 8 or 9 at the time. So I have no memory of him. Is like, all I remember is the vehicle. Like for whatever reason, I remember that Hasselhoff over Kit and combined, but I don't remember him as the actor. But I did watch it.
Sure, got Ernest Borgnine is in Airwolf. so speaking, I always like to do this. So originally they wanted to cast Cliff Robertson as the Bronson character, and Jeff Bridges, who was young at the time, as Steve. Do you think that would have worked?
I think it would have been okay. I don't think the Bronson, the Robertson
is the main guy. Yeah.
Yeah. That, I think it's got to be Bronson, that kind of thing. I can't see it with anything else. Bridges would have been okay, but I think he would have been almost too. There's something about like he's a pretty boy, but there was also an edge to him. Versus Bridges is just like he's just too nice. Like he's the starfighter or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like,
and then Bridges was in it was Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. I think it was a year before with Clint Eastwood, where it's kind of like they're not buddy cops, they're like buddy not gangsters, but they're like bank robbers type of deal. So maybe maybe Bridges.
You like that one too?
Yeah, that's worth seeing. Yeah, if
I know that name. These are these titles that you hear, and you just.
Well, I think you got to see Death Wish. I think that's the peak Bronson, at least the first one. And then for Eastwood, I would check out definitely the Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Check out, I just showed this to Lindsay, Play Misty for Me, which came out in 1971. That is the precursor. There is no Fatal Attraction without Play Misty for Me. So
really?
Yeah, it is dark. I mean, there's some stuff in there that you're probably like, they would never do it this way now, which is good. And then, of course, Dirty Harry.
Yeah, I know this is a little off, but for the 70s thing, again, like All the President's Men and Day of the Concord. What's the Day of the Condor?
Oh, yes.
But those kind of thriller, that style, I do like those kind of realistic.
The
ones.
Paranoia, yeah. There's tons of good. I mean, I would say the greatest heist film is the Sting with Paul Newman and Redford, and Redford just passed away. So,
how amazing was that? He was just like there wasn't any hoopla on that guy at all dying. Like
no,
that I saw.
No,
just like,
and
he's dead. Okay.
I think unfortunately for him, and I don't want to get political at all, but it happened right during the Charlie Kirk stuff. So
correct. I think you're right.
They just kind of glossed over it, which is, I mean, look, Redford was a complete icon. I mean,
that's what I mean.
People, yeah. Unbelievable. All right, let's get back to the film. So, did anything surprise you about this film in general? And without giving anything away, did you enjoy the ending?
I thought the ending was great, and I was actually good with what I thought was going to be the ending, and then kind of is this for anybody that's never seen the movie, or are you just not?
Well, I don't think a lot of people have seen it. Yeah, I think it'll be surprising to some.
That's fine. Yeah. I really liked it. It did not detach itself from the tone of the movie at all. But yeah, no, I really liked the ending, and I liked how it flipped again. But it was. I do think it's funny the way that he discovered that how he was after him is like the sloppiest assassin of all time. Let's just say,
yeah,
that's like me, just like leaving this out in my, you know what I'm talking about. So,
well, I mean, he's older now. Maybe he wanted to get caught. Maybe it's that type of deal. Maybe it just, I'm going to check out.
No. I'm saying how he found out about Jan Michael Vincent.
Oh, sure, yeah,
about his thing, and then I like the fact that it went for 40 minutes past that. Like that's something usually in a movie you find out right at the end. You know what I'm saying?
So they can trick you, yeah.
Because I don't want you to forget with it is let's just not sleep on the actual action scenes without the use of CGI and that car. I don't know if you're going to hit that or if I'm going ahead.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's also what's great about watching 70s film, and that's why I mentioned Hooper too. Those are all stuntmen. Those are real stunts. Those are real explosions. It's not a click of a mouse, and I say it often on the podcast. I mean, there is something. Even watching those schlocky sci-fi films from like the 50s and 60s are still more fun than quote-unquote good-looking CGI of today.
And I'll just tell you, the first time that I don't know which one it was, but somebody had told me, where I saw the making of one of the Fast and Furious ones. And this is like the early because I think the first Fast and Furious is what, 99, 98?
Something like that. Yeah.
Big Fat, whatever. So let's just call it Faster and Furioso, whatever they call them. One of the sequels, it might have been the one where they went to Japan or...
Tokyo Drift or whatever,
There you go, thank you. It was called Tokyo Drift, and they said, listen, here's how we make these action movies now. We actually just film the streets.
Yeah.
And they just take the camera, and we add the CGI cars in there. I'm like, oh, man, really? That kind of takes away from the fun. And that was when CGI was good enough to, like, you could fake the car because the street was real.
Yeah.
My point of that is that, one of the greatest things you could do for a stuntman is to put him on a bike and put a fucking helmet on him, because then you're good to go. You don't have to... It could be anybody, right? But they had so many things that reminded me of 80s action movies, like when they, like a Ferris Bueller kind of thing or whatever.
Sure.
And they would go through the backyard and somebody would fall in the pool. You'd see that all in the Shane Black Lethal Weapons or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And, And so I like that. But then the car chase I thought was of James Bond level or what have you, when all around and then the use of the big plow or whatever you call it, the big whatever. What do you call that thing?
Tractor.
The tractor or whatever to smash into it. And I do think there were some funny explosions too when the car would fall off a cliff and it
right.
you know, it hits,
you gotta have
boom.
that.
But like it was like, you know, it was fun. Is my point. But to your point, you're watching
really happening.
That's what I mean. Like I'm like they really executed this well on the side. Like because I always think of James Bond with those car chases on the side of mountains, the big switchbacks and whatnot. So
well, again, I keep thinking it's now 70s movies. You got it. Well, this is actually late 60s, but Bullet, with Steve McQueen that played, Streets of San Francisco, where he's just driving that Mustang around San Francisco. It's pretty awesome. And there are a lot of even the French Connection. We mentioned Gene Hackman.
So I was saying, like I was great car chases there, but that car chase came. I wasn't expecting a good car chase, or any of that. And this I thought was just a straight up thriller. So that was nice they added that.
Sure.
I also want to mention. Sorry, what isn't that called soundtrack? But what's it called? The composer?
Oh, the score.
Thank you. The score.
Yeah.
I thought was really effective too. Very minimal parts, but kind of like I don't know. It was well done.
Did you like how I always like. This is what I liked about the A-Team, even though it was ridiculous. I loved the plan. The plan is actually better than the execution. I kind of like how he did that in this too.
Oh, right. Yeah, they had the whole thing at the end with the quote set up and the there's little I liked when they were planning it out, how they were going to do it, and I don't know, just every scene with them seemed realistic. And the great 70s bad guy, right? They always look like they always are those dudes of suits that. I know. I like the fact that there's just like it wasn't really it was kind of the mob, but it was almost like next level mob, right? Like people controlling people. Like he gets a phone call. But there's like that guy is like 10 guys. Like I need to talk to you now. So he's got to go travel across the fucking world to meet with him, right?
He's like an independent contractor for the mob.
Yeah,
like he's not truly in, but they need him. So, going back to like kind of stunt people, and like I just rewatched Flashdance for the podcast, which will come out in the next 20 years. But just in the last Jennifer Beals scene, there was 4 different people dancing. One of them male to do some of the stunts. But you really you suspend disbelief. Like it was okay, but today there would be again, they would just probably make it an AI bot, having Jennifer Beals do that scene. So
true.
And
I'll just say that it's not a quote good movie per se.
No,
but it was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean Flashdance. I was going to say. I was going to say the mechanic's great, but I'm saying like recently the movie The Fall Guy, which is just is all real stunts though that they're showing you, and they all show you the making of at the end. And I watched that with the kids, and I highly enjoyed it because of the fact that you knew this shit was
real
about stuntmen being. What a weird IP to hold on to. Silly,
this isn't really new. It's probably 10 years old, but you kind of mentioned Shane Black and Lethal Weapon. Did you ever see The Nice Guys with the Russell Crowe?
The best.
Yeah, isn't it good?
So why is that not like a top comedy too?
I don't know. Like, and they wanted that to be like kind of a series too, but it didn't do that well at the box office. But I think it's great.
Yeah, it's super violent at parts too, and like it's funny if like he's smashing his fist through the thing,
right?
Like he just plays a big dumbass and everything. This is the right movie I'm talking about, right? With,
No, I'll tell you. Yeah.
It has it's Russell Crowe and Gosling, right? When you started being funny.
Yep. Exactly. Do you like Hitman films in general?
Love them. I love a heist and Hitman. If I was going to pick my favorite genre of those is those type of movies. Even stuff where it's not my favorite one, but like The Inside Man. Yeah. If the heist is in there, I'm pretty much in. I love those.
Here's a 70s movie for you, The Hot Rock, with Redford's in it. They're planning a jewel heist.
You're going to have to send this over. I'm trying to take notes as I go.
Okay, did you see the remake of The Mechanic with Jason Statham and Ben Foster?
Right after I was done with watching, I said, like, I swear to God I've heard this title recently. But then, Statham kind of is always playing the same kind of character, even though I do like a lot of his movies. But
I do too.
But the... have not seen it, and I did not know that was a remake. That's how foreign this film was to me. I just thought it was one of us, because there's 3 or 4 of them. right? Doesn't he have several?
There's two.
Okay.
Which says it all. So what? It is different than
Yeah.
The
Right.
original mechanic.
Who plays his coach or his who does he learn from?
Statham plays the Bronson, and then Ben Foster is the Jan Michael Vincent character.
Oh, that's completely different.
Ben,
I thought maybe. Never mind. Got it.
No. So the ending is different in the remake, which is fine. So it kind of does stand on its own. And like you said, a lot of people haven't seen the original mechanics, so it kind of made sense. And
is it the same setup?
Years after, pretty much.
Like they go to Naples and to do all that, and
yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was the same European country.
Well, that part's fine. But it's the same
is,
premise, though.
Yeah.
That's the
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then the second one is, it's kind of like the Transporter a little bit, whereas the Transporter isn't a hitman, but he's a driver, but he obviously does a lot of badass stuff.
Right.
Some final thoughts. Obviously, you like the film. Are you going to start checking out more Bronson films now?
Yeah. What I wanted to know was basically, I'm assuming the first Death Wish is solid.
Yeah.
But besides that, after it, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Like I actually found a podcast called it's you might like it. It's just all about specifically. This is the wonderful world we're in. It's all about Charles Bronson. That's all they do is review. And there's like 4 guys, and they busted through. So I wanted to listen to their review of the movie.
Sure.
Afterwards too, and they all had different recommendations, which at this time I've forgotten. So that's what I wanted to know from your end was, if you're hearing this podcast and you decide I'm going to check out The Mechanic, where would you go from here? Yeah,
I would definitely Death Wish is next. That's his iconic role. It's kind of his Dirty Harry. I like Mr. Majestic. I think that's really good. If he plays a bare knuckle fighter, kind of like a darker Every Which Way But Loose, or Clint Eastwood plays that.
So there's no monkey, though?
No monkey. There's no monkey, no humor, but similar. Hard Times is good. I liked if you kind of want an old 70s kind of mystery kind of thriller. St. Ives is very good. We covered it on this with Jacqueline Bisset.
Nice.
He's a kind of a reporter, like a crime reporter, and he's kind of down on his luck, and he's basically hired by this old guy to figure out some stuff. So that one's good. If you kind of want a 80s thriller with like a psycho killer, 10 to Midnight is kind of cool, where he plays a detective trying to catch a guy that's a serial killer.
Okay, I've heard 6 to Midnight is also pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say those. I think that's a good start.
All right. Yeah,
if you do want to watch the other Death Wish, they get progressively worse in the because by the time he's 80. So
right. Still,
yeah.
People, it's kind of like what's the Neeson one? The first Liam.
Yes. Yeah, Taken.
Taken. Like, this guy's got the dumbest daughter in the world.
Exactly. He's just not procreate,
Yeah. I get it.
But you got, look, I was shocked. There's 5 Death Wishes. I
did not know there was 5. I thought there was 3.
Straight to video.
Until this right now, so.
I would say the second ones we're seeing, it's got Jimmy Page doing the score, which is the first thing he did after Zeppelin. Totally different than Zeppelin, so it's kind of interesting. But it's still kind of got that rawness, but it's in the 80s, so it's 82.
Got it.
Yeah, but definitely check out the original. You'll like it.
Okay. And then one last question would be, this only makes sense if it's coming out. Is this coming out in October, or is this way out there? Like January?
This will be out, I think it might be out in November, December. So yeah.
Okay, then I want to ask. It was basically just going to be for a dark, a missed Halloween movie, as I was going to ask. But
this actually might be closer to Thanksgiving, so you can eat some turkey and go watch.
Don't even worry about it. Okay.
Cool. Well, thank you, LC. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.